Hello there, my name is Alex. I hope you've had a good Christmas and a good New Year. This is going to be a faction focus on the Ork Kommando Kill Team that you can pick up in the Octarius Kill Team box. This kill team is one of my favourite kill teams that I've played so far. It's actually the one that I've played the most and get the most enjoyment out of. It's kind of jack of all trades, got some weaknesses which is fun. It's definitely got some strengths. Each model is very unique and that's the reason I like playing it. So you can bring 10 models and they all have a purpose and a role. They have strong points and weak points. And once you understand what they're strong at and what they're weak at, it makes it a lot more fun. This is my kill team here. So here's my kill team. This is my wife who's currently holding them. She had the patience to get the camera in focus, so thank you very much. This is what I've been painting up. Started in October, just took my time with it, had a lot of fun. And really enjoyed playing the kill team itself. So we'll be going over some of what each of them do. So that was the Flamer. He's probably the weakest operative out of the lot of them, I would say. This is the boss knob. He's called Ed Chopper. That's what I've called him anyways. You might have noticed the burner boy was called Wham. You've got Dundee. Obviously that's not a knife, this is a knife. It's something I've really enjoyed about this kill team is that although they're all very unique models, you can't really customise them yourself, but it's been fun giving them names. You've got Basher, Basher's stuff, I guess, yeah. It's the Breacher Boy. Really strong model. I'll explain why as well when it comes to it. There's a couple of little things you can play around with him to make him stronger than normal. This is the bomb squig. I've called him Ray after a friend's dog. Who the best way to describe the dog is an aggressive lover, and so the bomb squig is as well, I guess. Yeah. So this is just going to be a little showcase of what I've painted up as well. Commando 76 for any Overwatch fans. Yeah, Soldier 76, a little bit of a reference to that. You've got Sparky D, MC Sparky D, if any user from the UK and used to listen to some New Monkey. Good old days. MC Sparky D. This is the Orc Sniper, and also another reference to Overwatch. If any user played Widowmaker, the noise that she makes when she uses her ultimate. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but yeah, this is what me and my friends normally say it is. Faja Maja Maja. Yep, then you've got the Rocket Boy, which is called Bam, so he goes alongside with Wham, so you got Wham and Bam. Really enjoy painting all these models. They've all got a lot of detail. First time painting orcs, so I think I've done alright with them. This is the Grot Cruise, Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible guy, normally goes off on his own doing his little thing. Hope you enjoyed my paint scheme. It's not the best, but I really enjoyed painting them. I definitely will be touching up some details on them. There is two of the orcs, they're just the ordinary standard ones. I haven't had motivation to finish them off yet. I don't use them, and I'll explain why in the video. To start off with, the archetype is Seek and Destroy and Infiltration, which I think works very well, especially Infiltration. I do use that quite often with this kill team. Works well with the Grot. There's a few that you can use with that, such as Interlope and things like that. So the Grot has a lot of movement, which I'll be going over. So with this kill team, there's not very many options of how you can take it. So you've got 11 different choices of orcs to choose between, and 12 in the box that you get. 2 of them being commando boys. You can only take 10 of them. So you've got to choose whether or not you want to take the commando boys, or if you just want a group of specialists, as I call them, which if I ever refer to specialists, I mean anything other than the basic commando boy. Commando operatives in this commando kill team, excluding the bomb squig operative, have the following ability. Everyone but the bomb squig gets this ability, Throat Slitters, where they're allowed to charge while they have a concealed order. Normally you can't charge in it while you've got a concealed order, you have to change out of it. Quickly go over the ploys. So this army has 4 strategic ploys and 3 tactical ploys. So these 4 on the left you can use at the start of the turning point, while the ones on the right you can use during the game. We'll start off with which is quite a strong ability. I use this one quite a lot. What this allows you to do is each operative that is not within line of sight of an enemy operative or have a conceal order and are more than 6 inches away from enemy operative can immediately perform a free dash action. So there's 3 things that it wants you to do. So you can't be within 6 inches, can't have a conceal order, can't be within line of sight. If you meet all 3 of them, when you spend this, every operative that applies to can perform a free dash action. It's useful. It is limited by them 3 things, so there won't be times where everyone can use it, but there'll be definitely times where it does come in handy. However, you can only use this once. Then you've got Daka Daka Daka. What this does until the end of the turning point, when you roll a crit hit, you can select one of your fail hits to be a normal hit as well. It all adds up though. It's a nice feature, especially with all the shooting you can do with orcs. You got war, or Wa, however you want to say it. And this is pretty much the same but with melee combat instead of ranged. In the rule of attack dice of combat, when you would retain 2 or more normal hits, you can select one of those to be retained as a critical hit instead. So if you hit twice, you can turn one of the normals into a crit. And then finally you've got Sulk About until the end of the turning point. Each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly commando operative, before rolling defense for that shooting attack, if it has a conceal order, you can retain 1 as a successful normal save without rolling it. So this is quite strong. Orcs normally have 3 saves, so you can normally roll 3 dice. If you can cover, you can retain 1 as an automatic pass. With this, you can, if you have the concealed order as well, then you can retain 1 as well as an automatic pass. So in total you can retain 2 of them. Orc saves aren't that good. They're not the best. 5 ups, 6 ups. I think the boss snub has a 4 up. So this is very strong, and this goes across your army. Yes, you do still need the concealed order, but a lot of your operatives can stay concealed, and this works well with the fact that they can charge while concealed. It's a good way of keeping them alive until they get up the board. Now for your tactical ploys, these ones you can use during the game. So you've got Just a Scratch. So you can use this tactical ploy in the resolve successful hit step of a shooting, attack or combat. When damage would be inflicted on a friendly commando operative, excluding the commando grot, can't be done the grot, and remember the bomb squig isn't actually a commando. Ignore the damage inflicted from that attack dice. So you can pretty much choose one of the attack dice and go, right, okay, that one there, I'm not going to take damage from that one. I find I use this one the most, just because it's just so easy just to use. The other ones you kind of got a plan for. This will just come up. Done. Moving on to the next one, Crump 'em. Use this tactical ploy at the end of a fight phase. Select 1 friendly commando operative. It can perform a free fight action. It'll come up every now and then. It's good to have. Finally, you've got Sneaky Git. So you can use this here and you can deploy an operative anywhere on the board as long as it's within 1 inch of heavy terrain and more than 6 inches away from the enemy drop zone. It also can't be the bomb squig. It's very useful. I mainly use this on the Orc Sniper or the Rocket Boy. It's nice to get them on a vantage point, so you can shoot people with concealed orders if they're on the ground. It's not that often that you will have a good bit of terrain that you can get a vantage point on that's in your deployment zone. Well, you shouldn't anyway. I mean, there is a few games where there's ledges and stuff that I've played where you can get them up there, but if you can just deploy your sniper on a bit of terrain anywhere on the board, good overview of stuff. Obviously you need to be careful that you don't deploy them somewhere where they're just going to easily be charged and picked off. Right, so if we move on to the operatives, this is your basic commando boy. Again, I don't take these ones, but we'll go over them. So they've got movement of 3 circles, which if you don't know, a circle is 2 inches, so in total that'll be 6 inches. It's got APL of 2, so that's how many activations it has per turn. So that'll have 2. It's got a GA of 1, which stands for group activation. So you only activate 1 model per turn, you take turns activating. If it had GA2, you could activate 2 of these models. So you've got 3 defense dice that you'll roll from shooting attacks. You're saving on a 5+. And you've got 10 wounds. So with the Orcs, they're all pretty much what it says here. Commando boys fitted with a slug and a chopper. They have no abilities and no unique actions. They've got 4 attacks with the slugger, hitting on 4s, 3s and 4s, with only range of 6 inches. For you that don't know, the left number is ordinary hits, the right number is crit hits. So if you roll a 6, you'll be doing 4 damage. If you roll hitting on 4s. So if you roll a 4-5, you're doing 3 damage. Chopper, 4 attacks with hitting on 3s, so it's quite consistent hitting, more than 50% chance. 4s and 5s damage. It's alright, it's pretty good damage. The problem is the range. Again, I don't take these or the bad. No, they probably do have a place. I mean, the Burner Boy to me isn't that good, and you'll see why when we get to him, but there's ways of making him better. Maybe I could replace the Burner Boy with one of these, but I like having unique operatives while these are just the basic standard guys. So this is the Commando Slasher Boy. Again, all the stats were the same as previously. He has got a ranged attack. It is silent. So what silent means is that you can throw it while being concealed and it doesn't take you out the concealed order. You get 4 attacks with it, hitting on 3s, and does 2-5 damage. 5 damage is quite a bit. It is only range 6. He's got twin choppers that he can use in melee, which is 4 attacks hitting on 3s with 4-5 damage. If you've noticed, quite good damage in melee from these. 4 and 5, that's really good. That all you got is a special ability you can do with this Ork. So it has an ability, that all you got. It's just a free way of doing mortal wounds to your enemy. How it works is, if you fought in combat with this operative and he's took damage, so if this Orc's taking damage, but he's not incapacitated, you roll 1d6 on a 4-up, so that's a 50% chance. The enemy operative that fought in that combat suffers 2 mortal wounds. It'll come up and it will be useful. Moving on to the Commando Breach Boy, this is one of my favourite models. There's probably about 4 or 5 that I really like in this kill team. This is one of them. The reason is his abilities. He does have a Slugger, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 4s with 3-4 damage. It is a range of 6 inches. What you want him for is his Breach Ram. And his Breach Ram has 3 attacks, hitting on 3s with 5-5. It's got the brutal critical rule here. Well, it says it's got it here. However, I believe that it has been in the FAQs mentioned that it should be a special rule as brutal. This is the PDF of the FAQs for the Kill Team Octarius Commandos. So, what's this? Commando Breach Boy, yep. So change the brutal rule from a critical hit rule to a special rule. As well as... oh, so this is also changed as well. So, the Breach Boy Bull Charge ability. Each time this operative fights in combat, if it made a charge move during that activation, its Breach Ram gains the stun critical hit rule. Okay, so if you've charged, you also get a stun critical hit. While beforehand, what did it say? Just actually, the power ram gains the critical hit rule for that combat. Right, okay. It didn't actually, so it's just missing text, so it's put the text back in. So it gains the stun critical hit rule if you've charged. The brutal is actually a special rule, so it's always got the brutal rule. So for the users that don't know, brutal means that it can only be blocked using a crit, and if you charged, any crits also stun. It also has another ability called Breach, so each time this operative performs a normal move, dash or charge, so pretty much any way of moving, it can move through parts of the terrain feature that are no more than 1 inch thick, as if it was not there. This is the reason why I love this model. It just gets around the map. So it's something that's I like about the Ork Kill Team is they haven't got the best movement. I mean, they're not bad. They're not as if the Death Guard. They do have a lot of little gimmicks and rules where they can get extra movement, and this is why I like this guy. You'll notice the operatives that I like are actually the ones which have stuff to do with movement. The Commando Sniper Boy. So moving on to the Commando Sniper Boy, brilliant model, really love him. He's the one that I would normally use and use that ploy on and redeploy it somewhere else on the board. It's scoped big shooter, has 6 attacks, hitting on 3s with 2-2. It doesn't seem like much damage, but it has got crit rule of mortal wounds too. So if you score a crit, you do 2 additional mortal wounds along with that damage, but you can't block that. Even if you block the crit hit, you'll still take the 2 mortal wounds. So you can pretty much see it as a 2-4. It's only got fists, so I would not want to get him into melee combat. However, I have had someone charge him, and he's actually won the fight up in combat. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s with 3-4 damage. Again, it's not bad, but you don't want him up in combat. You want to keep him far away as possible. So he's got no abilities, but he has got 2 unique actions. Both of these cost 2 AP, so that'll be both of your activation points. Avid allows you to perform a shoot action with this operative using the big scoped shooter. So you've got to use the big scoped shooter. You can't use grenades because grenades are classed as a shooting attack. You can shoot every target that's within circle of your your main target. So if you choose to shoot someone, everyone that's within 2 inches of that target, you then can shoot. However, each time this operative makes a shoot attack for this action, subtract 2 from that attack's characteristics of that scope big shooter for that shooting attack. So the first guy that you shoot, you'll be getting 6 attacks. The second guy that you shoot, you'll be getting 4 attacks. And then 2 attacks. But that is a lot of shots that you can get off. The one that I like him for is Dab's Spot. So this is also 2 activation points, and you can perform a free shoot action with this operative using the scope big shooter. So again, using the scope big shooter, you can't throw a grenade, even if it has the concealed order. So the way I read that, he's in concealed, use this, you can shoot like as if your gun's silenced. I might be wrong with that. It might take you out of concealed order, but why would you not just flip the token? Maybe it's just for the first turn that you can use that. The way I read this is you get to keep concealed order. I may be wrong. Please do let us know how you would interpret this. As with the Breacher Boy, this is another model that has some good movements with abilities. The Commander Dagger Boy, he has same characteristics as all the other orcs we saw so far. However, he's got the Dagger Shooter, which is 5 attacks hitting on 4s, 3/4 damage, and it's got a special rule, Unload Slug, which is just unique to this model, so it's down here. He's also got fists. Fists are always the same, 3s and 3s, 3/4 damage. Unload Slugs, each time that you shoot an enemy that's within 6 inches of you when you shoot them with the Dagger Shooter, you can re-roll any or all of your dice. Really strong. But that's not the reason I take him. This is the reason I take him. So Dagger Dash. So Dagger Dash costs 1 AP to perform a free shoot action and a free dash action with this operative in any order. Now notice how it doesn't say that you have to make a free shoot action using the dagger gun, and it also specifies that it's in any order. And it's for 1 AP you can do a free shoot action. This here will come up later when I'm talking about combinations, and this is just so strong. It works with grenades. There's other operatives which can give out extra AP, so you can have 3. Speaking of which, operatives that can give out extra APL, you've got the Commando Comms Boy, same stats as normal. He's got a shock pistol, which is only 6 inches. It's got 6 attack with hitting on 4s with only 1/1 damage. However, it has got the crit rule of stun and mortal wound 2. It's kind of a 1/3, but with stun. You got fists, which is 3s. Hitting on 3s with 3/4 damage, it's normal. Abilities, I got a plan, lads. Once per turning point, during this operative's activation, it can perform a mission pickup action for 1 less AP to a minimum of 1. So it might cost you an AP to do something. So normally you would spend, I don't know, a point getting there, a point picking it up. And then that'll be normal people. It would use up both of their activations. This guy, you could get there, you could pick it up and reduce it down to 0, and then you could dash away. So it's a unique action. This is the reason I like this guy, and what it does is you can select 1 friendly commander operative within 6 inches, and that is visible to this operative, and you can add 1 to its APL. This operative cannot perform this action as if it's in engagement range of an enemy operative. So you add 1 to its APL, and that lasts until its next activation. Moving on to my least favourite specialist. Saying specialist, it has no special abilities or rules, but he's a unique looking model. Commando Burner Boy. I'm saying he's my least favourite. He does have a place. He's very good at zoning. I mean, no one wants to run into a flamethrower. He's got fists, so the same melee options as before. But he does have a burner, which is 5 attacks, so quite a lot of attacks. Hitting on 2s, so very consistent hits. It only does 2/2 damage. Has got a range of 6, quite limited by its range, and it has torrent of 2. An ordinary Commando Boy might be better. Commando Rocket Boy, probably one of your strongest ranged operatives that you've got. Same stats as every other orc so far. He's got fists as well, so I won't go over that. He has got a rocket launcher, and this is 5 attacks hitting on 4s, 4/5 damage. AP1 and splash 1 on the crits. It's no blast, but it's still nice, it's extra damage. It's not a heavy weapon like other kill teams, rocket launchers and things like that, so you can actually move and shoot it. He has got the ability of Boom Boy, so each time this operative performs a shoot action during this activation, in the roll of the dice step for that action shooting attack, if it is not made and moved during that activation, you can re-roll any or all of the attack dice. As long as he shoots first, I believe he's allowed to move after, but if you've moved and then shoot, you don't get your rerolls. That's how I interpret it. The Commando Grot. Right, now this one, I didn't like when I first read him, but when you look at your attack ops that you can choose, like Interlope, ones where you've got to get to the enemy deployment zone, plant something, ones where you've got to get on a bit of terrain, blow it up. This operative can move so much. He's only got a melee attack, he has no ranged, and it's not good. It's 3 attacks hitting on 5s with 1/4 with no special rules. This is the first operative as well that we saw which has different stats, and the thing is that's different is its wounds. Its wounds is actually only 5 instead of 10, so it's half the health of an orc. So he's got the ability of Sneaky Zogger. This operative cannot have an engage order. You can't ever make him engaged. He's always got to be counted as concealed. This operative is always treated as having the conceal order regardless of any other rules, e.g. vantage point. It means as long as you keep him behind cover, he can't be shot at. Grapple and hook ability, which is 1 AP to use. Select 1 point on a terrain feature that is visible to this operative. Treat that point as an intended target. Perform a free normal move action with this operative, moving in a single straight line with unlimited movement as though it can fly. It must finish that move within 1 inch of that point. So pretty much see a bit of terrain. As long as you can see it, regardless of the distance, you then can just grapple and hook straight to it, and as long as you end 1 inch away from the point which you could see, it's amazing. Grapple and hook somewhere, do an objective. Grapple and hook near the edge of the board, interlope. Easy points. Easy points with this Commando Grot. Now this one's a little bit questionable if you should take or not, because it's a double-edged sword and it can really hurt you. It's never done that to me, but I could see it happening quite easy, and it's the bomb squig. So this is pretty much just a bit of dynamite with legs. It's got a save of 6+, which is the worst out of everyone. Everyone else has so far had a 5 up save, 6 wounds, so it's slightly better than the Grot. Vicious Bites, which is in combat. It's got 3 attacks hitting on 4s with 4/5 damage. Pretty good damage to be fair. So the abilities, you got bomb squig. This operative can perform a shoot action with this weapon, even if it's within engagement range. So you can just choose to use your dynamite if you're within engagement range. So you can charge into people if you want to and then blow up. So when this operative performs a shoot action and selects this ranged weapon, make a shooting attack against each other operative visible. It's every operative within circle of it, so that's 2 inches. So they're not classed as being in cover, and as long as they're within 2 inches, they're going to be getting hit by this. After all of the shooting attacks have been made, this operative is incapacitated. Do not roll for the boom ability. So the boom ability is over here. This operative cannot make a shooting attack with this weapon by performing an Overwatch action. Boom ability is pretty much when it's incapacitated, roll 1d6, on a 3 up it makes the shooting attack. Combination you could do is charge, fight someone in melee, try and bite them as much as you can, do damage, they're going to attack back. If they do 6 damage, you're going to blow up. So if you get that into like a really tanky person, he's got other people around him, they're going to be facing both parts of it. It's a good little combination that you've got. But it's a chance that it might not go off. On a 1 or a 2, it doesn't actually blow up and you only do your bites and it just dies. So you could just be safe, charge it in and then blow up. That's the way I would play it. But there could be times where you may want to use it in combat, hope it dies and hope that you roll well. It's also got the ability Stupid. So what Stupid is, this operative cannot perform mission actions, it cannot perform pickup actions, and it cannot have the conceal order, so can't be concealed. It cannot be equipped with equipment. In narrative play, it cannot gain or lose experience, and it automatically passes casualty tests for anyone that plays narrative play. So finally, you've got your leader, which is the commando knob. It doesn't actually have the leader keyword, however, as you can see here in the FAQs, the commando knob keywords add the following keyword, leader. So he is actually a leader now. He has a 4 up save, which is the best save out of your kill team. And he's also got 13 wounds. So 13's been the highest so far. He's got 1 ranged option and he's got 2 melee options to choose between. Slugger is 4 attacks, hitting on 4s with 3/4 damage with range of 6. It's alright. Where he excels is in melee. We'll compare the two melee options you can choose between. You've got the big chopper, which is what I've took, and the power claw. I see a lot of people take the power claw over the big chopper. They both have the pros and both have the cons. I personally like the big chopper. They both got 4 attacks. The chopper hits on 2s while the claw hits on 3s. So the chopper's a little bit more consistent, which is what I like about it. Chopper does 5-6 damage and the power claw has slightly more damage on crits with 5-7 damage. And it's also got the brutal rule, which means it only can be blocked by crits. And you may be thinking that, well, the power claw seems a lot better because you get more damage and it can it's not going to be getting blocked as much. But you've only got 4 attacks. With a 2 up, you're most likely going to get 3 to 4 through, while with a 3 up, you might only be getting 2, maybe 3. And I kind of see the big chopper as more of a dueling weapon, as much as orcs duel, I guess. So I normally like to send this guy into the enemy leader, and what you want to do is you want to be blocking and parrying as much damage off them as possible, which you can do because you've got more dice to spend, and you're still doing a lot of damage. 5-6 damage is a lot of damage. Also, there's a bit of rare equipment, I believe, which works well with the big chopper, which wouldn't work with the power claw, where you can crit on 5s instead. Just on damage alone, power claw probably is better. However, the potential of being able to block attacks, they might only hit you twice, and you hit all 4 of yours, you block one of their attacks, they damage you, and then you've still got enough to finish them off with 3 attacks. Rather than you taking 2 hits to you, you've only taken 1 now, and you've still killed them. He also has an ability where he can give out an extra APL to a friendly operative within 6 inches that's visible. This doesn't cost him an APL like it did with the comms boy. So you'll have 2 sets of APL you can give out. The 2 operatives which I would give them out to would be the Breacher Boy and the Dagger Boy. The Breacher Boy and the Dagger Boy. Moving on to equipment, so there's quite a lot of equipment to choose between. There's a few which stand out and that I take nearly every game. You've got the chopper. Now this is I'll take the chopper normally and I'll put him on the Burner Boy, and the weakness with the Burner Boy is that he's got fists and he could just be charged, and then in combat he's probably going to die. However, if you give him a chopper, it's kind of a deterrent to stop people from wanting to charge him. The next one is a slugger, so this pretty much just gives someone a slugger who doesn't have it. You've got harpoon. This operative is equipped with the following ranged weapon for the battle. Harpoon, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4-5 damage, and it's also got the crit rule of stun. It is only 6 inches. That's 3 equipment points, so it's slightly more than a slugger, but it's slightly better. You've got a sledgehammer you can equip operatives with, which is also 3 EP, so it's a better version of the chopper, I guess. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, 4-4 damage with the stun crit rule again. Smoke grenade, it's 1 AP. Place the centre of 1 smoke token on a point within 6 inches of this operative. That token creates an area of smoke that's 2-inch radius and unlimited upwards height, but not below. 2-inch circle, unlimited height above, doesn't go down, obviously smoke rises. Measured from the centre of the token until the end of the turning point. An operative is not visible if a cover line is drawn to it that crosses the area of smoke. This operative can only perform this action once and cannot perform this action if it's within engagement range of an enemy operative. It's a smoke grenade action. Until the end of the turning point, an operative that is obscured if every cover line drawn across it. You've got to have the full model now needs to be covered. It's been FAQ'd. It's 3 EP to purchase, so I don't think it's worth it. Moving on to stun grenade, this is 2 equipment points and it costs 1 AP to use. You select 1 point in the battlefield within 6 inches of this operative, roll an D6 for each operative within 2 inches of that point, subtract 1 from the result if they are not visible to this operative. On a 4 up, subtract 1 from the APL. Pretty much it's got a range of 6 inches. Everyone within 2 inches of that point, you roll a D6. On a 4 up, you take 1 from the APL. However, it's a 5 up if they're not visible. It's only 2 EP. Moving on to stick bomb, so this is 2 EP. This operative is equipped with the following ranged weapon for the battle. Stick bomb, 4 attacks hitting on 3s or 2-4 damage. It's got a range of 6 inches, blast of 2 inches, so it'll hit everyone around. It's limited, so you can use it once. It's indirect, so I believe that ignores cover. I'm gonna quickly skip over dynamite because dynamite's the one that I love to take, and I'm gonna quickly go over climbing rope. So what climbing rope allows you to do? It's only 1 equipment point per rope. Each time this operative ascends or descends a terrain feature while climbing the first vertical distance of up to 3 circles it travels, or counted as 1 circle. So the first 6 inches is counted as 2 inches for that climb. Really good. Chuck that on your sniper. Let's say you didn't redeploy him up somewhere. He now can traverse terrain so much easier. You can chuck it on the rocket boy. There's just so many people that this will be good on. This operative does not need to be within 1 inch of physical and climbable part of the terrain. Moving on to dynamite, as I just mentioned before, it's a really good bit of equipment. I actually take 2 sticks of dynamite, and I put one on my commando breach boy, and I put the other one on the dagger boy. And the reason I put it on them too is the dagger boy, he can do the dagger dash, and the breacher boy, he can go through terrain. They both get them bits of equipment, and there's also some other combinations you can do using your boss knob and the comms guy, who can both give out 1 extra AP, because this is unwieldy, which makes it so it costs 1 extra AP to use this ability. So if you're going to shoot with it, it would cost 2 AP instead of 1, and as you know, orcs only have 2 AP, so if you want to move and shoot, you can't use dynamite. However, if you give them an extra AP, it will catch opponents by surprise because they don't expect you to be able to use it, and especially on the Breacher Boy, who just appears through a wall and throws it, or the Dagger Dash guy, who can move Dagger Dash, which allows you to dash and perform a shoot action for free in any order, and the shoot action can be whatever you want. It doesn't say make a shoot action using your dagger gun, so you make a shoot action using the dynamite. You can get some distance covered with them too. What dynamite does, 4 attacks hitting on 3s with 5-6 damage. It's got a range of 6 inches, so you only can throw it 6 inches, blast of 2 inches, so everyone for 2 inches is going to get hit by it, AP 1, indirect, so it ignores cover, and then obviously unwieldy makes it cost 1 more to use this ability than what it would be. Limited means that you only can use it once per game, so if you take 2, you can use it twice. Yeah, so there's my whole kill team that I would bring, this exact list that you see here. This is my favourite kill team so far. I am going to be trying to learn how to play the other kill team that's in this book, the Veteran Guardsmen. Hopefully they are just as fun as Ork Kommandos. Let me know if there's any kill teams which you would like to see next. I am planning on doing Tyranids, I'm planning on doing the Veteran Guardsmen, I'm planning on doing Thousand Suns. There is a few other ones which I have my eye on, which I would like to try and do, but if there's any in particular that you would like to see, I would be more than happy to hear, and hopefully I can do a video on them for you. Just give you my thoughts on what works well and what doesn't, and how I would play them. Obviously it's all subjective. You might look at this and be like, no, you've got to take the boss knob with the power claw. That's absolutely fine. If you think that's the way you want to play it, that's fine. You might just want optimal damage. I quite like the dueling capability of having the axe. You might be like, oh no, I wouldn't take the bomb squig or the flamer, I would take the 2 ordinary commando boys. That's fine as well. It's all subjective. Again, this is my opinion, and I really do appreciate it if you have stuck around till the end. Please do leave a like, leave a comment, hopefully subscribe, and maybe you'll see some more content like this. Thank you again.